On March 11, 2009, the life and legacy of Filipino rapper, actor, television personality, and cultural icon Francis Michael Magalona reached its final chapter. Known to many simply as Francis M., Magalona had become one of the most influential figures in Philippine entertainment, particularly the way he helped establish Filipino hip-hop as a powerful and respected form of musical expression. His death was met with deep sadness by his family, friends, fellow artists, and countless fans who had followed his remarkable career. Before daybreak on March 11, Magalona was cremated at La Funeraria Paz in Quezon City. The quiet and solemn ceremony marked the beginning of the stages of his farewell. Cremation was followed by a mass later that morning, allowing his loved ones and those closest to him to gather in prayer and remembrance. The Mass. Later in the morning, a Mass was held for Magalona at Christ the King Parish in Greenmeadows. The service provided an opportunity for family members, friends, colleagues, and supporters to honor his life and reflect on the impact he had made during his years in the public eye. The Mass was more than a farewell to a celebrated entertainer. It was also a moment to recognize the man behind the music, television appearances, acting roles, and public persona. Magalona had spent decades building a career that crossed several areas of Philippine entertainment, and his influence extended far beyond the projects he worked on. For many Filipinos, his name was closely associated with originality, patriotism, creativity, and pride in Filipino identity. His music helped inspire a generation of listeners and artists, while his willingness to express Filipino themes through hip-hop gave the genre a distinctive local character. Journey to Loyola Memorial Park. After the Mass, Magalona's ashes were taken to Loyola Memorial Park in Marikina, where they were to be laid to rest. What might normally have been a private and solemn journey became a major public gathering because of the enormous number of people who wanted to pay their respects. Fans and numerous personalities from the entertainment industry joined the convoy traveling toward the memorial park. The procession attracted such a large crowd that traffic in the Marikina riverbanks area near the park came to a standstill. The traffic disruption reflected the extraordinary level of public affection for Magalona. People were not simply witnessing the final journey of a famous celebrity, many were participating in a collective farewell to an artist whose work had become part of Philippine popular culture. A final goodbye from fans. The presence of fans along the route demonstrated how deeply Magalona had connected with Filipinos. His popularity was not limited to one generation or entertainment circle. His career had allowed him to reach audiences through music, film, television, and other creative projects. For supporters, seeing the convoy and joining the farewell was a way of expressing gratitude. They had listened to his songs, watched his performances, followed his television appearances, and admired his contributions to Filipino entertainment. The gathering at Loyola Memorial Park therefore became an emotional public tribute as much as a funeral procession. The participation of fellow entertainment personalities also highlighted the respect Magalona had earned within the industry. Artists and colleagues recognized not only his talent but also the significance of his career. His passing represented the loss of a distinctive voice in Philippine music and entertainment. The legacy he left behind. Francis Magalona's farewell was marked by faith, family, friendship, and an overwhelming display of public affection. From the early morning cremation at La Funeraria Paz to the Mass at Christ the King Parish and the journey to Loyola Memorial Park, each stage reflected the importance of his life to those around him. His burial was not simply the conclusion of a funeral. It became a powerful reminder of the legacy he had built. Magalona had helped change perceptions of Filipino hip-hop and demonstrated that local music could carry messages about Filipino identity, culture, and pride while still connecting with contemporary audiences. The enormous crowd that gathered during his final journey offered perhaps the clearest indication of how much he meant to the public. Fans stood alongside members of the entertainment industry, creating a remarkable scene in Marikina as people came together to say goodbye. Remembering Francis M. Although his life ended in 2009, Francis Magalona's influence continued through the music he created, the artists he inspired, and the cultural identity he championed. His final farewell captured the affection and respect he had earned throughout his career. The image of his ashes being carried toward Loyola Memorial Park, accompanied by a large convoy of grieving supporters, remains a poignant symbol of his impact. Traffic may have stalled around the riverbanks area that day, but the moment represented something larger. Thousands of people were willing to pause their routines to honor an artist who had left a lasting mark on their lives. Francis Magalona's final journey therefore stands as more than a record of his cremation, mass, and burial. It represents the closing chapter of an extraordinary life and the beginning of a lasting legacy. Through the memories of his family, colleagues, fellow artists, and fans, Francis M. continues to be remembered as a pioneering Filipino entertainer whose work helped shape the country's modern music and popular culture.